So introducing our little nuggly, Apollo Miguel. Hi, Muffin. So if you're here because you have been watching our channel for a little while and you want to know what her birth story was, you're in the right place. If you're a new mom or about to be a new mom and you're about to give birth, don't watch this video. Honestly, I don't know if there's a really good way to start this video. To say that we are in love and over the moon, I mean, I think that those are all things that go unsaid, and those are things that any new parent would tell you. To me, it's still crazy even using the word parent to describe us.
We look at him and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like you carried that for 9 months. You carried him for 9 months. That's our child.
I can't believe that he was a little Muay Thai fighter. Which we'll get into this story later, but I don't want you guys to get 6 minutes into this video and wonder why our baby has a black eye. I know that we made a joke that he was a Muay Thai fighter. I promise it wasn't Muay Thai. It's actually part of the drama of this labor story, which was anything but conventional. Yeah. Thankfully, everybody came out safe, and I'm beyond grateful to be here, and I'm beyond grateful that Apollo's here and that he's nice and safe. But this is definitely, these baby noises. This is definitely a video that is not a story for the faint of heart. I will also say that if you are about to be a mom and you are heavily pregnant and you're planning on going into a happy, healthy, natural delivery.
This is not the video for you.
No, watch this after you have your beautiful bundle of joy in your arms, and then we can have a chat. It started with, I think it was like March 4th, I start getting labor contractions. My goal since the beginning was always to have a natural labor and to do it completely unmedicated, not for any particular reason. Thailand doesn't really offer epidurals unless you're having a C-section, and I knew that I really wanted to try and have a natural labor. And beyond that, I just wanted to see what it was like. I've always been someone who's like very hippy-dippy. If I have a headache, I don't take Advil. And so I was planning on like just letting nature run its course for labor. And I also didn't like the idea of having like my legs numb and not being able to feel parts of the process. I'm someone who very much likes to have control over my body. And those are things that I was wanting for my labor. So I start going into labor. I'm getting contractions. If you follow us on Instagram, you would have been seeing some of the live action updates.
Yeah, absolutely. As we were getting closer and closer to the due date, we just started counting sunsets. And I think we only made it to sunset number 9.
Sunset number 10, it's this photo where I am actively in labor, almost 24 hours at that point. And actually, right after that picture was taken, I was in enough discomfort to where I told Daniel, now might be time to go to the hospital. Mm-hmm. And so we do. And we've been getting treatment at Wattanapat Ao Nang. For those of you guys who don't know, we've been living in Thailand since the beginning.
Blah, blah, blah. We've been living in Thailand since the beginning of the pandemic. And we actually got pregnant by accident when we were living on Koh Chang. And ever since that, we have kind of done like a baby moon road trip through the country and done all sorts of traveling through Thailand because we have been able to do it while here during the pandemic and do so safely.
There was no COVID, by the way.
Exactly. There was no COVID. We were able to do it safely, and especially with her being pregnant. So we were like, you know what? Let's enjoy this time.
Right.
But I think we've been in Krabi now for 2 straight months.
Right.
With not having gone anywhere else because we were literally just waiting around, making sure that she's getting the right natal care, having found her doctor in the hospital.
Right. Which I'm so grateful that we did choose Wattanapat Ao Nang. We did go to several different hospitals around the country, and they were all really great hospitals. But at the end of the day, we made the decision that it was much better for us to stay and pick a hospital in the place that we wanted to live after the baby, not in a place that we just wanted to give birth in and then try and leave as soon as he was big enough to get on an airplane. We wanted to just have that peace. So we chose Wattanapat. So glad that we did.
Yeah.
Are you happy we chose Wattanapat too? So I get in there, and these labor nurses are angels. I am in the middle of contractions, like moaning and groaning and breathing, and they're giving me massage, like proper Thai massage. Daniel's giving me a massage too, and I just felt so loved and taken care of and supported during that whole entire time.
Annette was telling me what they were doing. Every time that they came over and were like trying to do different procedures and stuff, it looked like they were holding her down. But she said that they would just lightly come over, hand on the leg, hand on the shoulder, hand on the arm. Like, they were so kind.
So supportive.
Yeah.
And so I proceeded to continue to labor naturally. By the time that I had made it to the hospital, I was 4 centimeters dilated, and I felt defeated because I had already been having contractions for 20 hours and was well over it by the time I made it to the hospital. Like, I had already had a meltdown and started crying at home. And by the time I made it to the hospital, for them to tell me that I'm like not even halfway there, I was distraught. So they go in to dilate me. And now, I don't know if this is common practice, given you have to realize, like, in Thailand, things work differently than they do in the United States, for better or for worse. And I want to say that the majority of the time, it's for the better. But sometimes having a language barrier is kind of a challenge.
Yeah.
So every time that they would come in and check my dilation, they were actually also, I believe, doing a procedure called a membrane sweep, where they're manually dilating my cervix. Now, none of that is pleasant. It is actually horrifically painful. Also, when we got to the hospital, I find out that the doctor that I've been seeing isn't working today. So I'm going to be delivering with a totally different doctor. And so, panic.
Yeah. But, I mean, to be fair, I'm going to toot Annette's horn real quick. She handled it like a champ. There were curveballs thrown the entire time she was in labor and took them right on the chin.
Thank you. Or in this case, right in the vagina.
Yeah, right in the vagina. But yeah, I think, like, really at that point, you had found out that the doctor wasn't going to be here. And they were very understanding. They were trying to get a hold of the other doctor because it was their night off. And they were like, we're so sorry we can't get a hold of her. Would you be okay with a male doctor? And Annette was kind of more up in the air about it.
I literally said, I don't want to, but I can.
Yeah.
I mean, what choice did I have? This baby was coming, whether I was delivering to the female doctor, the male doctor, at home, in the bathroom, in the car, the baby was coming. So anyway, but the doctor comes in, the male doctor comes in, and he is so knowledgeable, so kind. I explained to him some things that I wanted from my birth plan, and he was really understanding in spite of it not being common policy here in Thailand. Like, for example, here they're very pro C-section, very pro episiotomy, and just very pro in medical interventions. It's just a country that does it fast, does it healthy, does it quick.
It does it really efficiently.
Right. That's just not the labor that I wanted. I wanted the slow, long, painful labor that involved no medication, no intervention. And he was willing to give me that. He's like, good luck, but I'll do it. So we go into it. He does explain to me when he checks that I am dilated, that my cervix, for whatever reason, is not in a proper position. If a normal cervix is to be pointing down, my cervix points toward my tailbone. So it's like a 90-degree angle. Like, the baby would then have to come out through the 90-degree angle and then make his way out of my birth canal. And he explains to me at this point that he predicts that this is not going to be able to be a natural delivery, that there's a chance for a C-section, and that he was going to prepare my body just in case. He was going to let me go all the way to 10 centimeters, try to push, and if things went sour, that C-section was something that was very much a thing that could happen. And
to kind of toot his horn from an outside perspective, he did everything in his power to make sure she had a natural birth.
Right.
Everything. And we honestly weren't expecting that. We were expecting kind of more of a push for C-sections. I mean, like Annette said, we're in Thailand, but also if there's like any complications in Thailand, they're usually like, oh, C-section time. Right. Let's go. Let's do it. And he wasn't. He was like, I feel that you would be better for a C-section, but I'm going to give you your time to labor naturally. Right. And he did. And so got to the hospital at 7. By 10 p.m., I had dilated to like 7 centimeters. This is where my labor kind of stalled because I hadn't slept in a couple of days. Since my labor really started at like 10 p.m. in the evening time, I didn't sleep that whole evening or the whole day before. Like, I hadn't napped. And so by the time that I am in the thick of labor, I am exhausted, totally exhausted, like falling asleep and only being woken up by these really strong contractions. So my labor stalled a little bit, and then they continue to check me for dilation and continue to do membrane sweeps. So it's literally me screaming at the top of my lungs.
every single time.
And with the language barrier, they weren't really able to explain what they were going to do or what was happening.
Right.
So there were 2 times specifically where I was like, what are you doing?
Because I'm screaming. Obviously, like, this is not it's not usually a pleasant experience. I don't want to say that labor is impossible. It's not. As you see, when we continue through the story, I made it all the way.
All the way and then some.
And I can vouch that it's something that your body is 100% built to do. It's nothing that you can't handle. Unless your cervix is sideways, then definitely don't try. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Just go for the C-section, trust me.
But at this point, Annette was still very much on the wanting to give natural birth, and they transitioned her from the labor bed just into a room like 5 steps away. Oh.
Daniel's favorite part of the labor story.
What is that part?
When they broke my water.
Oh my gosh. So I had no idea that her water hadn't broken. And everyone says like it's a gush, you feel like you pee, or it can trickle. So like you either have a huge rush of water or you have a very small rush or a small trickle of water. And she had gotten a trickle for the last couple of days, and so I just assumed that was it. Nope, that was not it. And again, language barrier, not able to describe what they're about to do, but they waited till Annette had a really, really intense contraction and just kind of whip.
And while they're pushing down on my stomach, they did that. And then it was everywhere. I'm screaming. It's super painful. I felt the pop. I felt way too many things.
Yeah. And to be fair, I am so thankful that you did and you were able to handle it. I mean, being the husband, just kind of standing there watching your wife writhing in pain, and then that happened, and then all of the lovely stuff that happens after you break the water, I was just like, oh my God.
Don't pass out.
This was the one time during the entire experience I was like, Daniel, don't be that guy. Unlock your legs, breathe, be here to support your wife. Just rub her back. Pretend it's not happening.
You did such a good job.
Thank you. This is not about me. This is about you. You did such a great job.
Thanks. So after this, they're getting the delivery room ready. I feel like I'm almost there. They have told me that now I'm 8 centimeters dilated. I am going to go through the famous transition, which is like the part of labor everyone warns you about. It's the toughest because you're getting contractions very close together. You're not getting as much of a break in between, and they are really intense and more just like all-encompassing kind of pain. Not anything different, because obviously like labor kind of prepares you. Contractions start smaller, they start getting stronger. So it's not like you go from 0 to, oh my God, I'm dying. So by the time that, transition gets there, your body is prepared to take this level of pain. You're just now tired. You've been doing this for hours and you don't have a break. So they take me to the delivery room. They're telling me, okay, you're 9 centimeters. If you have an urge to push, try and push. The doctor comes in, tells me to even get into a squatting position, which is a really good position to get into labor. It makes it go much faster. It's better for the mom, better for the baby, better for bleeding. And instead of being on the back, which is something that I didn't want, but I kind of came to terms with that's what I was going to get here in Thailand. Well, I got into a squatting position and I'm trying to push, and I am instead still just releasing tons of amniotic fluid and blood, and I'm getting horrific pain in my back and no urge to push. And I don't feel a baby coming. I don't feel the labor progressing. 30 minutes go by, 45 minutes go by. I'm still in squatting position getting these really overwhelming, all-encompassing contractions, and nothing's happening. And the doctor comes in and he's like, essentially, in the nicest Thai way of saying this, I told you so. You could still try. I'm happy to give you another 2 hours of this.
Yeah.
But remember that the anesthesiologist is in another side of town that's 30 minutes away. So you're still going to end up having to wait an hour to get a C-section if you choose to do this. So I recommend making up your mind in the next hour so that the doctor has time to make it over here and we can get the ball rolling. And
again, he said it extremely nice, but at this point, he was pretty much like, this is my medical opinion.
Right.
This is not happening. And I looked at Annette, and I remember she looked me dead in the eyes, and she was like, he's not coming, talking about Apollo, our baby. She was like, he's not coming. I don't know what's wrong. But this is after an hour of pushing. And so at that point, she literally looked at the doctor and said, "Get this baby out of me."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, it was great. And so then he looked at me to confirm. And I was like, if she says, "Get the baby out, C-section it is. Can you call the anesthesiologist?" And so then they started the ball rolling for that. But keep in mind, even though they started the ball rolling, this whole setup is still an hour away, and Annette is stuck in transition.
Beyond transition. I am now fully 10 centimeters dilated.
Just kidding.
Getting the full-on end of labor experience, and I'm stuck in the worst part of labor for 2.5 hours before I finally get the epidural. And I am writhing in pain during this epidural. I get into the C-section room, and once they give me the epidural and they sedate me, I start vomiting all over the side of my face. They're literally with a syringing vomit out of my ear. Oh
my gosh. And during this point, I couldn't be in the C-section room. And so I was waiting in the nursery because as soon as they got Apollo out, they were just going to send him right over to me. And so, did you have anything else to add before I kind of pick up?
No, this is your time to shine. I get wheeled off into C-section, and here's Daniel's experience.
So my experience is, don't be that guy that's freaking out in the waiting room. Just sit there, be calm. You're here at a great hospital with great doctors, great medical care. You did all of the things right. Just sit here and wait to hear that your wife is okay and wait for your child. Well, about 25 minutes into what's supposed to be a 30-minute to an hour max procedure, all of a sudden, 2 of the 4 labor and delivery nurses that were monitoring us and Annette slam open the door, start grabbing stuff out of a couple drawers, yank stethoscopes off the wall, and sprint out of the room. And at that point, I was like, my wife and child are dead. I'm going to sit here, and I'm like, if I have to make the decision, I don't know if I can choose between which one. But obviously, Annette and I can have another baby, but we lose the baby. But then if we lose the baby, or if we lose Annette, I can't have another baby. It was not great. I spiraled.
Not a good position to be in.
Yeah, I spiraled pretty big, and they weren't able to give me any updates. And the people who spoke English were the ones that ran off to go help. So then it was me stuck with Google Translate, and it was like an hour and a half of waiting around. But as soon as that happened, they actually brought Apollo in. And the first thing I asked was, "Annette sabay mai?" Is Annette okay? And they were like, yes, mom okay. And I was like, okay, boom, baby, oh my gosh. And he was blue, totally. Straight up blue, screaming bloody murder. And he was not happy. And so they were getting the incubator set.
So pause. Oh. I first need to tell you why he was blue. So it turns out that not only was my cervix not designed to make babies, apparently, or to birth babies, but Apollo was in what's called posterior position, also known as sunny side up position, also known as he was trying to come out face first. You know how babies, they crown, they come out this way? He was trying to come out this way.
Yeah.
And was stuck in the birth canal.
And then on top,
the black eye.
Yeah.
Because he got stuck. His eye got stuck in my pelvis.
And then on top of that, he had the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck, and it was a hot mess. And I'm assuming that's why the labor and delivery nurses ran out. But at this point, they start sticking him in the incubator, and I'm like, okay, my wife just went into a cesarean section. She's out now. And I have this baby in front of me. Can I do skin to skin? Everything that we had read and researched, it's really good for the baby. And especially if they can't get skin to skin with mom, to get skin to skin with dad. And I asked the doctor, and she was like, his temperature's really low. But she was like, give me a second. So she checked his temperature through a rectal thermometer. And of course, he did not like that. And she was like, it's low. You need to be careful. But yes, I can give you 10 minutes. And so I did what they called kangaroo. I got 10 minutes of soothing him and just being him naked on my bare chest. It was great. Worrying the entire time about Annette, but I was like, if I'm here, I'm going to at least enjoy this because I know they're taking good care of her. So did that, and then we stuck him in the incubator for about 15 minutes. And after that, everything seemed to move really fast from there to getting into the recovery room. They cleaned him off with actually olive oil. They cleaned off all like the amniotic fluid, all the placental stuff. He had chunks in his hair that they did wash. Yeah, it was yummy. I ended up kissing his head when we were in like the skin to skin. That was a tasty experience. But what did happen? I feel like I'm like blanking on it now.
No, so
I told her the story, but I don't remember it myself.
All that to say that things did not go as planned.
Yeah.
Things went exactly as they should have because, had I really continued to try and push, he may not have come out healthy. He may have come out with the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. We may have both not made it, if we were just trying to be stubborn. And I have a lot of peace about how things went down. So if you were in the beginning of this video, I warned you, if you are currently pregnant and you're watching this because you want to hear about somebody's experience and you didn't listen to my advice and you're still watching this, I want you to say that at the end of the day, like, there's no part of my birth story that I would take back. Actually, if I knew that my cervix was a right angle and that this kid wasn't going to be able to come out, I would have asked for a C-section much earlier so I could skip the whole labor process. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't change anything that happened yesterday if it meant that I'd be sitting here with my family in this bed with this cutie. Look at this little face, black eye and all. I love you. So don't get freaked out if you're just here because you care about us and you wanted to meet Apollo. Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful community. We've received such sweet and lovely messages from people all around the world, and we feel the love, and I am so overwhelmed.
Absolutely, and I'm just excited to be able to have our little family of 3 and to share what that's like with you.
Yeah, and the chase for adventures continue. You don't even know because you've just been napping for a day.
We have his take-home onesie, which we're not going to spoil the surprise yet, but my gosh, this kid is going to go on some adventures.
You're going to go on so many adventures, Pumpkin.
Here, anyways, let me actually give you a close-up. You haven't seen him outside of this zoomed out angle.
Hi, Nugget. Have you ever seen a more peaceful baby? A more peaceful baby? He doesn't care about noise. He's so used to us doing karaoke at the top of our lungs that he didn't even care. Alrighty, friends. On that note, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you are able to enjoy the coming adventures with the 3 of us, and I'm sending you so much love. On that note, click the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll see you on our next family adventure.